Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy Arsenal Podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to brand a new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. We are talking Declan Rice signing today. According to Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal are working on this deal. They want that deal to be completed today. Everything should be ironed out today with West Ham. We are talking as well. The careers of Xhaka and Thomas Partey have officially come to an end today at Arsenal, as Thomas Partey will be replaced by Xhaka by Declan Rice, and Granit Xhaka will be replaced by Kai Havertz at Arsenal. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions on the two midfield dynamites in our midfield being replaced and their careers coming to an end as Arsenal edge closer and closer to signing Declan Rice on a £105 million deal? We are going to be diving into that. Arsenal are looking to sign another central midfielder after signing Declan Rice, and of course I'm hearing Romeo Lavia and Yusuf Fofana are the two names Arsenal are looking at, but this will depend on outgoings. We'll be looking to that story, and Arsenal do have a forward in their list as well. So hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. Let me know in the comment box below. Let's have the conversation. Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka, their careers have ended at Arsenal. Are we going to miss them? Have we done an absolute mistake by going for a complete squad overall? Or this is something Arsenal needed to do and we have just become brave and bold and done that, right? Hit the like button. Let's get this one to 500 and let's dive into the latest around the club. Now, Fabrizio Romano has just confirmed that Arsenal are very, very confident that today the deal for Declan Rice is going to get done and the saga will be completed. According to Romano, he says Arsenal expect Declan Rice deal to be 100% agreed by today, latest tomorrow. The club is working to get it sealed within the next 24 hours. It is more than close now. All parties discussing on key details as the agreement looks very, very imminent. That is Fabrizio Romano confirming that Arsenal will get the deal done today and Declan Rice will be an Arsenal player by the end of today. Of course, it was a very, very big statement signing. A statement going with that £105 million deal to West Ham. And Arsenal now feel if you have pushed us over to pay 105, then there is no reason as to why the deal doesn't get concluded today. They want to look at other business. They want to look at the Julian Timber deal. They want to look at other stories. They want to look at other deals. So the Rice deal should be out of the way today. Of course, Ghana Block has also been talking about it and say this one is very deal after him rejecting Bayern and Manchester City. The deal was always going to happen, and he says now it is between West Ham and Declan Rice. The agents of the player are quickly pressurizing and pushing this deal to happen. They're trying to push West Ham to accept the 105 million deal within a very short period of time, so that the deal does not drag on. Mikel Arteta has already told Declan Rice, "You're going to be a star man at Arsenal. You're going to be an integral player in this squad." And the likes of Xhaka and the likes of Thomas Partey are going to leave as you come in as well. Now, the few nitty gritties to sort out are Arsenal have offered this this 105 deal across 5 years. We want to pay up across 4 years, not 5 years, across 4 years. West Ham want the 100 million to be paid within 18 months. Now, that is where the problem is. West Ham are saying you should be giving us our money within less than 2 years, right? That should be 1 year and 6 months. You should be able to give us our money. Arsenal are saying if you're going to go for record signing, for a record fee, it should be done within 4 years. Now, a compromise is expected on both sides. Arsenal could either increase decrease what they are going to pay, the amount of time they're going to pay this deal in, probably to 3 years or to 2 years, right? And then West Ham are also expected to at least compromise and increase the amount of time it will take for Arsenal to pay this money. I really reckon it might be paid within 2.5 years or 3 years. I think that is the common middle ground. I don't think West Ham have gone, we want this money in 18 months and that is their final stance. And I also don't think Arsenal have gone 4 years, and that is their final stance. I think if we are paying, in 3 years, if we pay that money in 3 years, starting 2023, I think the deal will be over by 2026, right? So West Ham are still there. Of course, you've got to think about them as a club. They're trying to replace their star man. They're looking at very expensive signings in Sofian Amrabat, in Joao Palhinha. Palhinha would cost around maybe 30, 35, 40 million pounds. And then Sofian Amrabat would cost between 30 to 40 as well. So if they're going to sign 2 players, they will need some significant cash, at least in the first year. But Rice is going to be signing for Arsenal today. The moment Arsenal and West Ham can agree on those little nitty-gritties, it will be done, all right? So Xhaka and Partey, it's time to talk about these two. The career of Xhaka and the career of Thomas Partey, they have swiftly, softly, and seemingly come to an end at Arsenal Football Club due to the signing of Declan Rice and due to the signing of Kai Havertz as well. So, look, I don't know how I feel about both of them leaving. It just feels like they've been a very huge part of Arsenal Football Club. And when I think about an Arsenal without Xhaka, an Arsenal without Thomas Partey, I'm not saying I will absolutely miss them to the magnitudes that I want to watch Arsenal again. Like, that is never happening. But I think we will miss them. We will absolutely miss them. But I think this is a very bold move from Arsenal and from the Cronkies. What we have done here, and I think it's very, very genius from Arsenal and everyone involved in this deal, we have brought in Declan Rice, who is 24 years of age. We have also brought in Kai Havertz, who is also 24 years of age. That is an average of 24, right? And what we've done here, because Odegaard is also 24, so our midfield has an average age of 24. I think it is slightly older than the front line, because you look at the front line, you have Martinelli, who is 21, 22, and you have Saka, who is 20. Gabriel Jesus is around 25, I think 25. So you compute the mean of the median, sorry, not the mean, but the median of the ages of those players up front and in midfield, and you feel like the midfield is a little bit more experienced. And I tell you what, all the players playing in our new midfield, Rice is a winner, Odegaard is a leader, and Kai Havertz is a winner as well. I think the impact of him winning the UEFA Champions League, the fact that he also captained Bayer Leverkusen at such a very, very young age, a couple of years ago, it will bring in some effect on the dressing room. It's the same thing with Declan Rice. That moment of winning the UEFA Conference League. Look, the UEFA Conference League is a young trophy. And we are going to be having its only 3rd edition this season. But I tell you what, to win it is something huge. It is absolutely very, very huge, right? So we do now have a midfield of winners and a midfield of leaders. 3 players that are absolute leaders. And I think the leadership in Declan Rice is going to be crucial to this Arsenal team. It's going to be very interesting to see whether Mikel Arteta will decide to make him captain over Martin Odegaard, like in some kind of change of office or takeover, or Martin Odegaard will stay as captain until one day when he eventually leaves and Declan Rice takes over. I would really want Odegaard to be my captain, because the more I've seen him put on that captain armband, the more confident, the more risks, and the more he's taken issues and matters in his own hands. I mean, this is not the police where taking matters in your own hands is illegal. In football, if you're as talented as Odegaard and you're not taking risks and you're not taking matters personally and you're not taking matters in your own hands, you're never going to be a successful player. And we talked about it in Martin Odegaard's first spell at Arsenal, and we said there is a player there, but can he shoot more? Can he try to find the runs of players more? Can he try to do the risky things, right? His overall passing of the game is very good, but there is something lacking. Let's start off with the one that will hurt me the most, Partey. Now I understand why Thomas Partey is going to leave Arsenal. You do not sign a 24-year-old captain, winner, for 100 million, and then he sits on the bench, and then he's and then he waits for his time. The Declan Rice time is now. Like, it is now. Absolutely. So, in my opinion, Rice comes in as that central defensive midfielder, box-to-box guy. He's going to be playing two roles, right? Because Kai Havertz is going to be playing in such an advanced position, and Martin Odegaard is literally playing in that pocket of space around Xhaka and Ben White. It means we're going to have a CDM that does the box-to-box, just like Rodri. Rodri carries the ball from these deeper areas, brings into the advanced areas, and he creates a lot of problems for the opponent. That is what Declan Rice is going to do. He's going to be an active CDM, not a dormant CDM, but an active CDM. One that gets involved in scoring goals, shooting, finding that clever pass as well, and things like that, right? So that is why Partey's career has suffered a short ending. I don't see how Partey is going to come back from this one, because I tell you what, one of the managers in the Premier League that has a problem with rotating players is Mikel Arteta. I think if Mikel had his team 100% fit and 100% in form, he would play each of the 11 members of the starting team for 38 games. To be honest, he would play them for 38 games. So I see Rice playing 38 games. I see Odegaard playing 38 games. I see Kai Havertz playing a minimum of 30 games. And that is why Xhaka and Thomas Partey's careers have definitely come to an end in Arsenal. I'm going to say, you've done well, Partey. You've done well, Granit Xhaka. This is, for me, an upgrade. I really love Thomas Partey, and it hurts me to say that we are going to move on from Partey. But this is an upgrade, and there is nothing to do, right? There is nothing to do at the moment. There is really nothing to do for Thomas Partey. If the managers decided to go big with a complete midfield overall, and it feels that that is how we will win the Premier League, the UCL, silverware, then so be it. Now, the next plans for Arsenal include signing another central midfielder. Arsenal are very keen to sign another player in midfield. It could be a CDM just like Declan Rice, or it could be a player who has that ability to play box to box. We are talking of Romeo Lavia, and we're also talking of Youssouf Fofana. Youssouf Fofana at Monaco is a name that has actually come into the discussion a little bit late. But it's kind of sticking there. It is kind of, remaining there. Now, at first I thought because other clubs could be interested, Arsenal's name was thrown into the discussion just to make sure that there is competition, okay? But it looks like Youssouf Fofana could be a player Arsenal try to sign, especially if the Romeo Lavia deal becomes too expensive. I would love to have Romeo Lavia at Arsenal, because you see, when you sign Declan Rice for 100 million and you sign Kai Havertz for 65, there is one more player you need to complete the midfield. We're going to be losing around 4 midfielders in Partey, Xhaka, Lokonga, and Elneny eventually. So I think Romeo Lavia after Rice makes more sense than any other player. Ability to play in a single pivot, ability to play in a double pivot with Rice, and ability to play alone in games where we won't play where we won't play Declan Rice. For example, we host at the Emirates a team like Olympiacos in the UEFA Champions League. You can play Romeo Lavia there just for rotation, all right? I think it makes a lot of sense, and it's also just 19. So if you sign a 19-year-old to back up Declan Rice, you will excuse me. I'm not used to the fact that Partey is not going to be in our midfield, but that is what I'm talking about. Lavia seems more sensible, but Youssouf Fofana is a cheaper deal than Romeo Lavia, less risky in my opinion, because we are hearing about 25 to 30 million euros that could be asked in the for the services of Youssouf Fofana from Monaco. So if Arsenal can get that one done, get the midfield sealed, and next summer we try to sign a big centre back and a big striker as well. But then also a forward has been discussed as in the list of players that Arsenal could be moving to in this summer. A couple of names have been mentioned. Moussa Diaby is the name that I think Arsenal will try to. Look, he's the name that Arsenal will be linked with most, especially now that Rice and Timber might be out of the way this week. I think Diaby is one to keep your eyes on, right? Diaby is one to keep your eyes on. I think Mikel will feel that with Rice and Kai Havertz, forming that good partnership on the left-hand side, which, by the way, has been our goal-scoring side last campaign, if Kai Havertz can score more goals, with Gabriel Martinelli and Declan Rice being that kind of guy that can provide some kind of creativity on that side and also shield, he might need to look somewhere else for someone who's going to be backing up Xhaka, right? So I think Diaby is a name to look at, but I won't be surprised if Arsenal go for a ramshackle forward. Like, we've always done those deals, haven't we? But then I won't be surprised if Arsenal also decide to go for a player in the region of maybe 60 million, okay? Because we wanted Rafinha last summer, and it's interesting to see whether Rafinha would have played on the left-hand side, where Martinelli is right now, because much of his time, he has spent it as an inverted winger, that is Martinelli. But much of the time, Rafinha has spent at Barca, he has played on the right-hand side and he's played naturally. He holds the width, but he's kind of natural. Of course, he's got that ability to cut back and, shoot as well. But he's a guy that has been playing on the right-hand side. So let's wait and see what's going to come out of that. Arsenal also already moving on to the next steps as Rice prepares to sign today.